Why not cross by boat CH019? A place to settle, he doesn't have any reasons. He's just mad with rage. Shay Sui-An's voice grew cold as she pulled herself out of her memories and forced herself to face the suffocating reality. Nan Yi fell silent, unable to find any words to respond. Over so many years, Shay Sui-An had undoubtedly placed her hopes in her beloved brother countless times, only to be disappointed again and again, which eventually led her to speak such a conclusion with finality. Sister-in-law, let's not talk about him anymore. It's getting late, and you're new to Wingshu. Since you're unfamiliar with the place, let me escort you back to Huaishu Courtyard. Nan Yi nodded quietly, silently following Shay Sui-An's lead. Shay Sui-An attempted to bring up another topic. Sister-in-law, is there anything missing in your room? Don't be shy about it. If you need anything, just tell me, and I'll get it for you. How are you getting along with concubine Kiao? She's a kind person and shouldn't be making things difficult for you. Nan Yi, still in a daze, suddenly looked up, and the tears that had been lingering in her eyes fell without warning. Even Nan Yi was stunned. She didn't know when the tear had started to form, but it seemed to have fallen for Shay Keishan's story. Shay Sui-An misunderstood the situation and immediately grew anxious. Sister-in-law, why are you crying? Did concubine Kiao bully you? It was an unfortunate misunderstanding that worked in Nan Yi's favor. She had gotten close to Shay Sui-An to improve her situation in the Shay household, so she simply went along with it. She raised her hand as if to wipe away the tear, shaking her head in a hesitant, half-refusing manner. Shay Sui-An, having already imagined a scenario in her mind, saw Nan Yi's compliant demeanor, and her anger flared up instantly. Her anger was mostly out of sympathy for Nan Yi, but a small part of it was her misplaced sense of justice, desperate for an outlet. Shay Sui-An's life had always been smooth sailing. She despised evil, held strong principles, and was always willing to stand up against injustice and darkness. Yet, the evil of the world had never truly touched her. In times of peace, this was a blessing, but in times of chaos it had become Shay Sui-An's curse. The trees she had relied on were falling one by one. Unable to change the current state of affairs by herself, she could not accept the topsy-turvy world around her. So she placed all her hopes on Nan Yi. She firmly believed that this mysterious woman who had arrived with an enigmatic identity would be the key to breaking the deadlock. If she couldn't be a strategist, she would be the sword that protected her sister-in-law, ensuring no one could harm her. Shay Sui-An barged into Huaishu Courtyard and immediately pulled Kiao Yinzi out. Kiao, today we will have a good talk. What is your reasoning for acting as a concubine? Shay Sui-An dragged Kiao Yinzi toward Chuan Courtyard, where Lu Jinxiu resided. She managed all the household matters, and since she was Shay Sui-An's biological mother, arguing with her was the most effective way to settle things. Nan Yi kept her head lowered, following behind Shay Sui-An, feeling like a shameful turtle hiding its head. She had used Shay Sui-An to secure her position in the Shay family, but in the face of such blatant favoritism, she still felt guilty. 6. Miss was a straightforward and kind-hearted person, and the one she had deceived was her pure and sincere heart. Guilt swelled in Nan Yi's chest. Yet, despite mentally condemning herself 100 times, the instinct to survive took over. Nan Yi could not give up this opportunity to establish herself in the Shay family. As Shay Sui-An was still walking down the corridor, before even stepping through the door, she saw someone inside through the window screen and loudly began, "Mother, no matter what, my sister-in-law is my eldest brother's legitimate wife. How can you and Kiao treat her this harshly?" Just as Shay Sui-An stepped into the room, she froze. Nan Yi had caught up to her and glanced inside. It was Shay Keishan sitting in the study, and Lu Jinxiu was standing respectfully beside him. She shot Shay Sui-An a sharp look. "Making such a fuss, how unseemly. Shouldn't you greet your brother first?" Shay Keishan raised his eyes to glance at Lu Jinxiu. He clearly remembered that not long ago, she had distanced herself from him, addressing him as Envoy Shay and refusing to acknowledge him as a member of the Shay family. Now, without him even needing to say anything, she had quickly switched sides. Lu Jinxiu was a woman skilled in calculating the pros and cons. Upon hearing that Shay Keishan had taken control of the family and that the family head had been confined to the back mountain to meditate, she wasted no time in complying with all of Shay Keishan's demands. When he asked to see the back courtyard's accounts, she presented them all for him to review. She hoped her headstrong daughter would be as perceptive as she was, but clearly Shay Sui-An would never bow down. Shay Sui-An remained silent, pretending not to see Shay Keishan. She had intended to turn and leave, but since the matter of the day had not been resolved, she steeled herself to stay. Shay Keishan didn't seem to care, as if the earlier conflict with Shay Sui-An had never happened. His gaze passed over her and landed on Kiao Yinzi, who was standing quietly with her head lowered. Finally, his eyes rested on Nan Yi. "How has Kiao treated you harshly?" he asked. Nan Yi kept her head lowered, quickly calculating in her mind, was he asking knowingly? He had come last night, seen everything clearly, yet he still had to ask her this. Was he setting a trap? As she got this, Nan Yi put on a pitiful tone and said, "She hasn't treated me harshly. It's just that I haven't had the chance to settle myself yet." 6. Miss, let's forget about it and go back. Her soft, gentle voice reached his ears and Shay K-shan slightly narrowed his eyes. She had learned quickly, knowing how to retreat to avoid offending anyone, even when asking for something. Lu Jinxiu hurriedly intervened, "It was my oversight. I got Kiao would take care of things in Huaishu courtyard, so I didn't instruct her further. Nan, you must have suffered because of it." Lu Jinxiu, half-heartedly, shifted the blame onto Qiao Yinzi. Qiao Yinzi, a very gentle person, did not respond. She immediately knelt down, lowering her head and answering, "It was my fault for not arranging things properly. Eldest young master is of high moral character and deserves to have a noble and virtuous woman as his wife, not this deceitful woman who hides the truth. She is unworthy of living in Huaishu courtyard. Does that mean I only deserve to die?" Nan Yu forcefully swallowed the words that were about to spill out. She felt wronged and Qiao Yinzi also felt wronged. Although she was a concubine, she was determined to preserve her husband's reputation and would not allow anyone to taint his life with impurity. It seemed that everyone in the room was a victim, even the instigator Shay Heng was no longer at fault. The room fell silent. Even Shay Sui-an didn't know what to say. She hadn't expected that the usually obedient Qiao, who always listened to her eldest brother, would be so fierce at this moment. What had once been a simple matter of where to live and how to live had now been elevated into a serious issue, thanks to Qiao Yinzi's actions. Shay Keishan let out a low laugh, his voice half drowsy, half languid. "I promised the people of Liju Prefecture that I would ensure she properly observes mourning for my eldest brother. If it gets out that my sister-in-law is being mistreated in Wengshu, it will be a slap in my face. Qiao, you've really given me a huge problem." Qiao Yinzi knelt on the floor, sobbing quietly, unable to speak. Lu Jinxiu, fearing that Shay Keishan might punish Qiao Yinzi, hurriedly tried to smooth things over. "Master, why trouble yourself with the small matters of the back courtyard? It's understandable that Qiao would be resentful so soon after the death of the eldest. Wengshu has other courtyards besides Huaishu. How about I have the maidservants prepare a Zue pavilion for the young madam?" Shay Keishan gave her a cold glance. "Had you arranged this earlier, we wouldn't be having this scene today." Lu Jinxia's heart sank, realizing she had unwittingly brought trouble upon herself. "I think it's best if you stop managing the back courtyard, Lu Xiaoniang. Hand over all the arrangements to Nan Yi. She is the widow of my eldest brother, and should be in charge of the household, with your assistance. It's only reasonable. What do you think?" With those words, every woman in the room stared wide-eyed. Lu Jinxia's face flushed with anger. Shay Keishan's calm remark was a sharp slap to her face. Nan Yi was stunned, quickly kneeling and declining, "I've just come to the Shay family, and don't know anything. I can't handle such a big responsibility." "Then learn from Lu Xiaoning," Shay Keishan said. "Sister-in-law, do you think being a widow is for enjoyment?" Nan Yi was left speechless. Qiao Yinzi, more infuriated than ever, raised her head. "How is she worthy of being the mistress of the Shay family? She's unworthy, then what about you?" Shay Keishan calmly looked at Qiao Yinzi. Qiao Yinzi's lips trembled, but she could not answer a single word. Then it settled. Shay Keishan's decision seemed to have been made casually, but also as if it had been thoroughly considered. He had just become the head of the Shay family today, so taking control of the back courtyard wasn't a surprise, but handing it over to Nan Yi was certainly unexpected by everyone. However, today's disturbance caused by Shay Sui-an wasn't part of the plan. If he hadn't coincidentally run into her in Lu Jinxia's study, when would he have had the opportunity to announce this decision? Could it be that Shay Sui-an's and Nan Yi's every move had been part of his plan all along? Had he been waiting for this moment in Chuang courtyard? What exactly is he trying to do? Nan Yi stared at Shay Keishan, whose expression remained unchanged, her heart filled with confusion and unease. "He's setting you up for failure." Shay Sui-an bit her lip in anger. After leaving Chuang courtyard, Shay Sui-an led Nan Yi to her new residence, Zue Pavilion. They walked under the covered corridor, avoiding the guards, whispering to each other in low voices. "Setting me up for failure." Nan Yi couldn't believe it. "He's clearly holding a grudge. He hates that you made him lose face at our brother's funeral, and now he wants revenge. But since he can't do it openly, he's putting you in a position you can't handle, where you'll make mistakes and fall from grace. Such a vicious move. But why go to such lengths to target me? Shay Keishan is a madman. He's willing to take such a beating just to get back into the Shay family. If he can hurt himself, there's nothing he won't do. What should I do then? Nan Yi asked anxiously. Sister-in-law, don't worry. I won't allow him to harm you. Though you're a hidden pawn, behind you stands the entire Bing Chu Si. Shay Suyan intended to reassure Nan Yi, but her mention of Bing Chu Si made Nan Yi feel uneasy. She was afraid that if Shay Suyan continued discussing Bing Chu Si, her secret would be exposed. Quickly she changed the topic. Thank you, 6 Miss. My situation is minor, but the urgent matter now is figuring out how to save third uncle. In the corridor, Shay Suyan clenched her fist. Shay Keishan won't be allowed to harm anyone in the Shay family. I will fight him to the death. Death, could such a resolution be made so easily? Nan Yi gazed at the determination on Shay Suyan's face, feeling both confused and uncertain. She was grateful to Shay Suyan, but did not want to be her ally in this. She didn't want to fight Shay Keishan, she only wanted a safe place to live, and to survive.